For more on this, Srikanth Kondapalli joins me now live from New Delhi. He's the Dean at School of International Studies at Jawaharlal Nehru University. Thank you so much for being with us on the program today, sir. Now, China started conducting drills before Tsai Ing-Wen even met Kevin McCarthy. What extent of aggression can we expect from China militarily moving forward?
Thank you for that question. I think the Chinese will lie low till the former President Ma Ying-jeou from Taiwan gets back to Taiwan, number one. Number two, after President Macron and van der Leyen, the European leaders who are currently visiting China, once they are outside the People's Republic of China, then possibly China would escalate on Taiwan Straits. If you look at history, the Chinese do not escalate when some foreign leader is visiting, especially big leaders like the French president and the Kuomintang leader, Ma Ying-jeou, who is now visiting about 5 cities in China. So it could be expected that they would probably, increase the heat in the Taiwan Straits. Already the Fujian maritime authorities have suggested that they will inspect the ships that are going through the Taiwan Straits. So this is a small gesture from China in terms of the retaliation that they mentioned. Secondly, we would expect, like what we saw during Nancy Pelosi's visit in August last year, when the PLA was mobilized at 6 places off Taiwan, there is a huge military, presence that was made, very threatening to the Taiwanese security.
Right.
So it looks like we have to wait for a few more days for the escalation from China.
Looking at the U.S.'s position, it doesn't diplomatically recognize Taiwan, but it does continue to supply it with weapons, which raises the question of if China does indeed decide to attack Taiwan, how active of a role do you think the U.S. would play in all of this?
The 1979 Taiwan Relations Act is the basis for the American response in the Taiwan Straits. And that act suggests that if there is a shift in the balance of power in the Taiwan Straits, then the US Congress would request the US president to supply arms to Taiwan of a defensive nature. And during the current visit of President Tsai Ing-wen, $619 million have been agreed to for export to Taiwan, which includes the F-16 missile systems and attacking the radar network within mainland China and other systems and weapon systems. These will be supplied to Taiwan. So there is already an arrangement of that nature, but these are basically standoff weapon systems, which would increase the cost for China.
Right, and how much of an effect do you think the war in Ukraine has had in all of this?
It's an interesting connection because after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, there was a speculation that China will do the same thing on Taiwan, although there are huge differences between the two contexts of Taiwan and Ukraine. Nevertheless, the President Xi Jinping addressing the recent Politburo meeting, Communist Party's Politburo meeting, stated that China would be preparing now for a war in Taiwan Straits, for an invasion. So those are specific comments. We do not know whether that would be carried forward. But in terms of deterrence posture, this is what the Chinese would probably doing, because they want to cater for the nationalist constituency within mainland China, and also create divisions within the Taiwanese society, like what we saw between Ma Ying-jeou and Tsai Ing-wen currently.
All right, Srikanth Kondapalli, thank you so much for joining us here on the NewsHour and sharing that analysis with us. We really appreciate it.